everyone, it's me, Julian Greystoke. We are here with another tag. This tag, which I'm reading off of my phone again because I'm lazy, is the book selection tag. And the person who is doing it, who I'm stealing it from, I writerly also suggest that you kind of do it from the lens of an author. So we're talking mostly about books and what you read, but can you also maybe tie it into what you write? We'll see how we go. So this tag was originally by Len Woolston. I'll link in the doobly-doo to their original tag as usual. Hey guys, this is the world's fastest reminder that you can support me on Patreon and see all kinds of exclusive videos like these ones. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. Let's just get down to the questions, shall we? Question the first. How do you decide what you're going to read next? Do you pick what's trending, read a specific genre, or is it random? Oh, for me, it is hella random. So random, like, I never read what's trending. Everyone knows. If I do a book review of a popular book, it's often, like, years since everyone else has done a review and is over it. I am just so random. I have, like, my TBR on Goodreads, but mostly it's just there so I remember books that I've seen that look interesting. If I am, like, looking for my next book and I don't know what that's gonna be, I'll often just go look at that, but half the time I just literally go to my library or, like, the Overdrive app and just pick something. And it can be anything. It can be anything. It could be a title. It could be a synopsis. It could be, I noticed that a reviewer that I like reviewed it. I'm so random. Does any of this tie into my writing? Not really. I don't usually read what I'm writing. Sometimes I will. Like if I'm writing a fantasy, maybe I'll read more fantasy. But in general, my reading and my writing are kind of like separate as far as like genres and themes and stuff like that.
Wow, past me. Way to phrase that in the least useful way possible. What I mean is that my writing doesn't dictate my reading. So if I'm writing a fantasy, it doesn't mean I'm reading more fantasy at the time. I still stay with my same old lackadaisical, floating along, doing whatever kind of book finding style. But I do read the genres that I write. I write fantasy and I love to read fantasy. So, past me, why did you explain it so badly?
Question 2. How important is the cover? Do you judge a book by its cover? I'm pretty sure everybody does, or covers wouldn't exist. Like, we would just have plain brown covers if people didn't do that. I don't let a cover stop me. That's one thing that's for sure. Like, if I see a book that looks interesting and the cover is bad, I will still read the book. Covers are like icing on a cake, but I still know there's delicious cake inside. So for me, a cover is just extra beauty to draw my attention, to catch my eye. And I do have a very strong fondness for beautiful covers, but I'm not one of those people who will not pick up a book because I don't like the cover. Which is fortunate because my book that is currently published, self-published, kind of has a shit cover, and I just haven't done anything about it because I can't really afford to pay someone, so you just get the cover that I made. And I just have to hope that other people feel like I do and will try the delicious cake inside the book, rather than just deciding that the icing is all there is. I've been filming a lot of videos today, so my voice is like, bye! My voice will abandon me for anything. It's slight inconvenience and my voice is like, later bitch, I'm out. The next question is, do you read hardcovers, paperbacks, ebooks, or listen to audiobooks? 99% of what I do is listen to audiobooks because I am able to do that at work, so I go through a lot of books that way. Most of the time, if it doesn't have an audiobook, I will wait for it to have one before I get a chance to read it, just because I don't have time. I just don't have time. But if I do have time, I prefer to read those nice sort of big, flexible, like softback books that you can kind of just bend. Those are my favorite. They're comfortable to hold. Question 4. Do you prefer series or standalones? Why? I prefer standalones. When I was younger, I used to be more into series, but these days, I'm really on the standalone train. Because series, they have so much opportunity to disappoint me. It's very frustrating. Like, I'll love one book in a series and then I'll feel compelled to read like the next two, trying to recapture the joy I had with one. And I just the next ones get worse and worse. Whatever happened to books getting better as the series went on? Also, I am really not a fan of this trend. It feels like it used to be, and maybe that's just because I'm an old person, but it feels like it used to be that books in a series had to be able to stand alone. And now there is this huge trend that, like, the first book doesn't even have an ending. It just has a cliffhanger. It doesn't resolve a damn thing because you gotta go read the next books. And I hate that. Every book should have a beginning, middle, and end of its own, and if there's stuff you want to leave unanswered for the next book, that's fine. But if your book, your first book, even your second and third book can't stand on their own, I'm not going to be as into it. I also write standalones, if anyone was wondering. I have never written a series. I only write standalones. Not saying I will never write a series, but if I do, they will likely be companions, not a series following one character. I like to do a full character arc within a book versus stretching out a character arc. I feel it's so unsatisfying to stretch out a character arc like that through multiple books. Question 5, do you binge read or take your time reading a few chapters at a time? Well, if I'm listening, I essentially binge read. I just listen all day at work, so that's like 8 hours of book. If I am reading, I tend to read like one chapter and set it down. I don't really have time to binge read anymore because I'm an adult and old and stuff. Question 6, bookmarks or doggy ear? What do you use as a bookmark? I do not doggy ear. I used to when I was a kid, but now I don't. It hurts my soul. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'll try to bend that page over and I'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry for even considering it, book. I'm sorry, I almost hurt you. So I don't use bookmarks either, though, because I can never find a bookmark when I want one, so I just use whatever's to hand. Piece of paper, envelope. Often it's a tissue, a Kleenex. I just put it right in the pages. Question 7, do you tend to take notes in your books, or is this forbidden? If I write in a book, which is incredibly rare, I write in pencil so I can erase it. Sometimes I'll tab a book, not very often. Usually I have, if I'm like a reading for review, I have a notebook open beside me and I take notes separately. Even scripts, like even though if I'm in a play and I highlight my lines, I will usually takes notes for the script separately outside of the script. I don't know why that is. Question 8, how soon do you start a new book? Do you rush to another one or need some time in between? I usually don't give any time in between because my brain, I have a brain that gets really frustrated when it's bored and my job is really boring, so when I finish a book, if I'm at work, I just start up the next one that I have already pre-put on my MP3 player in preparation for running out of the previous book. I don't really do the book hangover thing. I just keep going straight on till morning. What about writing? Let's try to tie writing into this a little bit more. I would love to just write first drafts, and that would be the only thing I would ever write, because first drafts are where it's at. I have so many ideas. I just want to write those. And if somebody else would deal with them after that, that would be great. That's not going to happen, though, unfortunately. They're my children. I've made them. Now I have to raise them. As for my writing sessions, ideally I would binge write, but usually I have a time limit, so it's usually like half an hour, an hour is all I really get to write. It's fucking disappointing. Question 9, do you write reviews for the books you have read, including bad reviews? Oh boy, do I. I write a short review for pretty much every single book I read. They're all on my Goodreads, so if you like a person who gives their thoughts on everything that they read, definitely become my friends on Goodreads. I'll become your friend too. And then books that I have strong feelings about, so I either love or hate, usually end up getting a video review here on this channel. Speaking of which, this channel is so full of reviews already because I've been doing this for a while. So please, please, please go check out my book review playlist and see if there's anything that interests you. I have been called harsh by various people, so I am not a gentle book reviewer. I do not spare anyone's feelings. I tell it like I see it. So if you are in the mood for somebody who is cold, heartless, and bitchy, I am here for you. And question 10, what is your favorite book to recommend to others? So the book that I always recommend is like my favorite books are the Becca Cooper series by Tamara Pierce. If you like fantasy, if you like well done characters who grow, if you like mysteries, if you like fantasy police, which is a thing I didn't know I loved until Tamara Pierce and these books, like if you like those things, these books are so well written, they're so beautiful. I think they are Tamara Pierce's best series of all of her series. So if you already like Tamara Pierce, but you probably maybe haven't heard of the Becca Cooper series because they're less well known, please, please, please go read them. Also, I've started telling people to read The Great Alone, which was a book that was like my first 5-star book last year, and I still keep thinking about it. I love it. I guess it would count as historical fiction because it takes place during like the 60s or 70s, I think, and it's a family that moves to a homestead in Alaska, and it is just such a beautiful story of family, of surviving abuse, of surviving at all in the harsh world of Alaska, and I love it to bits. So if you are looking for something that's not fantasy and about fantasy police, then maybe check out The Great Alone. So those are my book recommendations for you, and of course, since this is also about writing, I recommend my book. It is a novella, so it's quick for you to read. It is a zombie book, but don't panic. Many readers who have left reviews for it have not been zombie book fans, but have still enjoyed Phoenix. Because in Phoenix, the focus is on the characters and their interactions. So if you really love character-driven stories, then maybe check out Phoenix. You know, leave your thoughts. I don't know. Or don't. It's your life. It's cool. Or if you want to check out some of my writing for free, I also have a Wattpad. Do whatever you please. That is the end of the tag. If I tag anybody, I'll put them in the doobly-doo, so check below to see if you've been tagged. Or if you want to be tagged, like, let me know, and I will put you in the doobly-doo and a link to your channel so that people can check out who I'm tagging. As you guys know, I post new videos Mondays and Fridays. All the links to my social media are in the doobly-doo for ease of your clicking. If you liked what you saw here but wish it was higher quality, you can support me on Patreon, where not only do you get exclusive content that nobody else gets, but you also help me work towards getting better equipment. And I will see all of you guys again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time. Bye!
Well, what do you know? It's that time again. That's right, time for shout-outs for my amazing patrons, Lennox, Amanda, Celia, Jenny, Kim, Lisa, Lemur, Sabby Panda, and Sarah. Thanks so much, you guys, for your support. You have no idea how much it means that you're out here supporting me this way, and I really appreciate y'all.